Joe, so what a day for former President Trump. What's next for him?
Well, he's on his way home now to presumably raise money and watch his polls rise. If recent history is any guide, he actually made a few words. He was arrested. Our viewers should know earlier his mugshot was taken. We're waiting to get a look at this as the sheriff has promised to release it. And having seen the mugshots earlier from Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and others who are his co-defendants, this ought to be quite an experience here. But the former president did come out to the cameras for a couple of moments and repeated his refrain about this being actually a form of election interference. And he sees this as a First Amendment case, essentially, that should allow him to challenge the results of what he calls a rigged election. But of course, this indictment says much different than that. He's charged with racketeering, with running a conspiracy to overturn the results of the 2020 election with fake electors and the pressure campaign against Mike Pence, and of course the events of January 6th. So look, we've seen this in 3 indictments already. It's now the 4th, and this might benefit Donald Trump through the course of the primary campaign should he become the nominee. We'll see what that means for the general election. It could be a very different scenario for him.
And Joe, as you've spoken about, previous incidences like this have really just served to galvanize his supporters and, as you say, see that boost in fundraising. Do any of these charges or potential convictions or outcomes preclude him from being able to try and return to the White House in 2024?
They don't. I mean, look, we've seen politicians run for office from jail. And I don't think Donald Trump is the next Lyndon LaRouche. And there's a real question about whether he could even serve jail time, which brings us very far beyond the moment we're talking about now. But being indicted does not keep you from running for president. It may not keep him from holding office. This is a very separate affair legally from his ability to run. The question is, can he do both at once? And when I say both, I mean, 5 things at once. To manage 4 trials and the throes of a presidential campaign, what's involved on a daily basis when it comes to travel, when it comes to long hours, being with donors. It's going to be very difficult for the campaign to juggle all of these things. And it's going to be difficult for the campaign to pay for it. Let's remember, he's been using people's personal donations to his campaign to pay for his lawyers so far, to the tune of millions of dollars. And we're just getting started with this.
And of course, we had the first primary debate for the Republican field. What was sort of the standout for you? Because we've seen also Trump's camp really putting its support behind a candidate that they are, I guess, hoping will undercut DeSantis.
Well, that's right. Ron DeSantis was center stage, and he had a little bit of a difficult evening. Some think he won the debate. I've heard very mixed reviews throughout the day, but he clearly was not bothered with what else was happening on the stage. He was kind of looking for some, I think, clippable moments for social media. Nikki Haley had a very good night. We talked to her today on Bloomberg TV. She kind of managed to shine, as did Vivek Ramaswamy. But he told the crowd last night that he thought Donald Trump was the greatest president of the 21st century, leading many of us to ask, then why would you run?